Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rucha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is E is pushing the envelope. What does it mean to push the envelope? Approach or extend the limits of what is possible. Why do we say push the envelope? Pushing the envelope means testing limits and trying out new, often radical ideas. The expression comes originally from mathematics and engineering, where an envelope is a boundary, but was popularized by test pilots, especially those depicted in Tom Wolfe's book, The Right Stuff. So basically, pushing the envelope means testing limits and trying out new, often radical ideas. And this is pretty much what's going on. These devils are pushing the envelope of the MOTB on all levels. This is a picture / article that a couple of brothers sent me today. And I'm pretty sure brothers already did lessons on it, but I want to go to it. This is from the U.S. Sun. This is called Micromanagement. And it says, okay. It says, outrage sparked over companies requiring employees to be micro-C-hipped, with officials calling to make it a felony. All right. So this is dated February 15, 2023, which was actually yesterday, 11:56 p.m., which almost a whole day ago. And pretty much, you know, this is something that's going back and forth in the media, or actually in the news, or in the among these different individuals that are, you know, working, especially certain particular jobs, because this is the wave of the future. This is what they want, you know, and they have to keep pushing narratives and pushing different agendas and pushing different scenarios and testing, you know, see who will and who won't, so on and so forth. You know, so this is the wave of the future, because this is what they want to do, to be able to track everything, not just the person, but everything in a person's life, because they want to make them a total servant for life. Okay. So it goes on to say, some companies are said to have been controversially micro-C-hipping their employees in the U.S. The practice could soon become a felony in Alabama, though, as an anti-micro-C-hipping bill is being introduced by the 3 state Democrats, which, you know, this is just, you have, you know, you have two sides, you know, and you have something called controlled opposition. And when you speak about controlled opposition, the first thing they do is they say, well, that's just a conspiracy theory. It's not factual. This is, you know, something that's made up. Just like the derailment of the train in Ohio was, you know, if you would have spoken about that, you know, they would have labeled you a conspiracy theorist, even though they brought it out in a movie in 2022, you know, that's exactly what they did. And everything they brought it out as a comedy, but everything in there mirrored what was happening right now in Ohio. And they said some of the people of that same town were extras in the movie, in the evacuation scenes. So you go, you know, you can't make this stuff up, man. Who writes this stuff? It says the bill aims to make it illegal for companies to require their employees to have micro-C-hips inserted. These micro-C-hips are usually inserted into human hands. You know, you also have the brain ones, which is like your Neuralinks, which is the MOTB. They can act as passes to open doors or allow you to log into computers. Some even let you buy things from vending machines. Can somebody tell me what the RFID micro-C-hip has to do with buying and selling? The sister said, my dog has a C-hip, you know. Well, sister, maybe your dog can buy you some lamb. But now you see what they're doing, right? They're scrambling and talking about, you know, digital currencies and the CBDC, and they might throw a micro-C-hip in there. Why are they saying that? Because they're setting the stage so when it does fully come out, Oh, we've been talking about it for years. Look, when you go back, we were doing, digital currency videos, and we were speaking about the cryptocurrencies, and we were speaking about the CBDCs. And if you notice, I said they might throw a micro CHIP in there, but it's not the MOTB. Ooh, my goodness. Anyways, let me see if I can get rid of this stupid fucking banner. Excuse my Swahili. It says the practice is said to improve security and make it harder for criminals to hack into private data. So they say. Hold on 1 second. Okay, está bien. Okay, cuando lo prendo, cuando quiera. Cuando lo prendo, a veces puede como 2, 3, 5 minutos para prender y a veces un sonido bien, no sé si se tiene que limpiar o lo que sea. No, creo que sí. Okay, gracias. Sí, está bien, está bien. Okay, te la pase bien. All right, Salakia, that was the maintenance guy, So it says, according to NBC 15 News, Wisconsin-based 3 Square Market CHIP 100 employees in 2017, and these were all trial runs. Several companies in Sweden are also said to have CHIP staff, and this is the wave of the future, and E keeps pushing the envelope different manners and different ways. But it's all leading to the same thing. They come in with the Meta. They come in with the Neuralink. They come in with the one in the hand. They come in with the buying part. They come in and covering the medical part of it, And they're going to come at it from many different angles because E is an octopus, And that's how they control everything because they have their hand in everything. Remember, the scriptures say that they could never have enough. And they have more than heart can wish. So they want to prevent people from being forced to get a micro CHIP in order to work somewhere, because for the most part, at first it's going to be voluntary, but eventually it's going to get to the point where it's going to be mandatory. And how do we know that? Because some are going to refuse it and get their head chopped off with these guillotines, and that's how we know that eventually, once they get a good portion of the people on the planet micro CHIP'd, and the ones that are resisting, they're going to cut them off. And some of them will even be put to death. It says the group hasn't revealed any businesses in Alabama that are forcing workers to get micro CHIP. Representative Chestnut said they're being presumptive. They are urging people to consider the ethical and constitutional implications of technology. Requiring staff to have micro CHIPs is already banned in states like Indiana and California. Yeah, but that's only a temporary thing. Because remember, they just want to get these things passed, just like they did the Federal Reserve Act. Get it passed, and then they can make all of the different amendments to it as their needs require. Okay, so I have just one precept I wanted to go through. I didn't get a chance to proofread through this. I haven't read this in a while, so we're just gonna go through it. And if any other precepts or anything else pops up, we'll go through it. This is Psalms 37. It's a pretty lengthy chapter, so we're going to see how much of it we can get through. I love this chapter because it speaks volumes as the plans of Esau, the wicked, especially the ones up in power, and they're trying to destroy the poor, which are the Israelites, which are us. Now, before we get to that, let's go real quick to Ephesians 6. And matter of fact, since we're on that topic, let's go to 2 Corinthians 2. Let's read this one first. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? And this is why when we see certain things, we report on it, because we're letting you know what's coming. Elder Pastor just did a video earlier this morning where he mentioned, we got it on the comment board in the premiere. He said we got to prepare our minds for death, because that is a very true possibility. That some of us will be put to death. Not all of us, of course, because, you're going to have the majority of the elect are going to make it through, but some brothers are going to have to suffer, that fate to glorify Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So at least if we have our minds ready for it when it comes, we pray the Lord give us a spirit to die well. If we have to die, let us die well. Yahushai died well. The Apostle Paul, the disciples, which were apostles, they all died well, regardless of what they may have been going through at the moment in the turmoil of their mind. They still went ahead and did what they had to do to glorify the Most High Yahweh. All right, so Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities." And what we're battling is hierarchy of demons. Now, what was it? 2 days ago, so-called Valentine's Day. I didn't even know it was a so-called Valentine's Day. I know we were near it, but it was a highly satanic day. And I'm like, what the hell is going on me? And it didn't dawn on me that it was that satanic holiday until later on in the day. Like in maybe the late afternoon, I was like, oh shit, this is why. It's fucking, this demonic ass so-called holiday. And brothers, there was a whole kind of shit going on that day, and we're still in the effects of it, because these demons, are doing their thing, because they know that they have a short time to rule. So they ramping up and giving all different types of ideas of demonic shit to do. To try to get their venture off the ground. So it says against powers, right? Because these principalities, a hierarchy of demons, they are powers. They are angelic powers, which goes, this is the Greek, but the Hebrew goes into the word Alahayim, which represents gods or demons, godlike ones. It could be the angels, It says against the rulers of the darkness of this world. And this is what I want to get. Cosmokrator. Cosmokrator is a compound word. Cosmos means an organization. This is where you get the term world, which everybody gets wrong as far as the definition of it. And the word krator, which means ruler. Krat, a ruler. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. So when we go to the word darkness, the rulers of the darkness of this world, we have rulers, which is Cosmokrator. Right, which is Lord of the world, Prince of this age, the devil and his demons. No, it's talking about Esau, the so-called illuminated ones, the international banking families. They are the world rulers. All right, Lord of the world, Prince of this age, which is the world rulers. If you see their curtail, hold, take hold, which is lay hand, which is to rule. So the Cosmokrator are the rulers of this world. Because notice it says rulers, not ruler, because they're trying to paint that thought that there's going to be one Antichrist that's going to come, and he's going to be set up as a king of the world, and he's going to bring in the anti-Messiah kingdom and this, that, and the other. But one scripture that kills that whole argument is the book of First John. First John. I don't know why I put Second John. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 18. And it says, little children, it is the last time, and as you have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists or many anti-messiahs, whereby we know that it is the last time. Because even back then, just before, the truth, so to speak, went to sleep for a certain period of time, you had a lot of heretical doctrines and philosophies arising at that time, trying to distort the word of the Lord. And the Apostle Paul warned about it, Yahushua warned about it, the Apostle Paul warned about it, the Apostle Peter and others warned about these things that were coming, and how they were not going to spare the flock, and how they were going to be seducing spirits. This is why the book of Jude is written. This is why you have many different scriptures that are written about this topic in the book of Peter, so on and so forth. And if that happened back then, how much more now that the world is that much more wicked 2,000 years later? So we're experiencing that anti-Messiah spirit being pushed heavy on the planet Earth. And E is pushing that heavy with his madness. All right. So then it goes on to say, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, right? Because they are the rulers of the darkness of this world, because they're operating in the shadows. But now that they've got the world pretty much in the grip that they wanted, they're coming out more. They're making their presence known more. They're making their agenda known more. Now you have something called predictive programming, right? Predictive programming. Let me see. Predictive programming. See, they call it a theory, but it's not a theory. Predictive programming is theory that the government or the higher ups are using fictional movies or books as a mass mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. So that whole situation that happened in that movie, I forget the name of the movie right now. It escapes me. The one where they derailed the train. It happened to be in Ohio. It happened to be toxic. It happened to be a train. It happened to be toxic, lethal, chemicals, that are harmful to the people. So what's that all about? So is that a conspiracy? Is that a theory? No, this is something that actually happened. And there's many other examples of it in movies, in sitcoms, and other different scenarios. Let me read a couple of these precepts that brother put up. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So how can these small hats claim to be the people of the Most High, but the world is in turmoil, the world is mourning, the animals are mourning, the trees, everything is mourning. So how can they be the righteous? The water, brother, white noise, yep. White noise, the water. How can they be the righteous? Which white noise is what? White noise pretty much is, when you used to watch television back in the days, there become a point where they didn't have any more broadcasts, like maybe after 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, whatever time it was, for a few hours, it would just be white noise. It would be like an interruption. So that could, very well be the reason why they call it white noise, because it was like an interruption to the everyday, goings about of that particular place, because they have a plan. So there has to be something there that they're planning, and that's why they did what they did there. So Proverbs 23:4, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, right? Because the scriptures is what comforts us, and we know that there's a lot of situations going on, in the world today that are being, manipulated, and ultimately is being done by the Most High on the left-hand side. Like the prophet Job said, I looked on the left hand where he works and I couldn't find him. So the Most High creates both. He creates good and he creates evil. And to this very day, these so-called Renaissance Christians do not know or understand that concept of the scriptures. All right, you can read the rest of this. I'm just gonna go back. Matter of fact, I put this in the description box, or you could just put in predictive programming, and it should bring you to the same page. So let's go from there to finish this up. Ephesians 6:12, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, which is Esau. Beginning with the international banking families and their cronies underneath them, pushing their agenda forward on all levels. In many different fashions, many different ways. Because when one group gets found out, they close that down and they open up 10 others. It's like a hydra, one serpent with many different heads. It's like the octopus with many different tentacles all over the world. And there are actual pictures of that, that they show the so-called elite in charge of the world, and they have an octopus with the tentacles all over the planet. because they have their hand in everything. And the scriptures say that they are wearied in the multitude of their counsels, because they know that they have but a short time to get this agenda off the ground. Against spiritual wickedness in high places, right? And I thought Satan was cast out of heaven. So why is there spiritual wickedness in high places, man? Shit. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go to Psalms 37:1. It says, security of those who trust in the Lord and insecurity of the wicked. Because what's going to happen is the same agenda that these international bankers have against the world to push their new world order and have the whole world in debt or as slaves is going to be the very thing that's going to destroy them. Because when they're about to fill their belly, the Lord shall pour the fury of his wrath upon them. So that's the final nail in the coffin when they get to pushing this micro C-HIP on the large scale, the MOTB. That's going to be the nail in the coffin, and we're witnessing right now the final nail being put in Esau's coffin. And the sooner they get this thing popping and running, the sooner that the destruction will come and the deliverance will come. And as Elder Pastor said, which we don't want to hear that, but we have to be realists, that takes a little bit of time. You're talking about an agenda to micro C-HIP the whole planet. So that's going to take time to do, so hopefully, within this year, they push things so fast that everything is in place for them to do it. And, Lord's will, maybe 2024, 2025, we'll be out of here. But hopefully it'll be a lot sooner than that. The scriptures speak about hastening the day. And that's what we're doing, hastening the day. But at the same time, knowing that the agenda is such a big, enormous task that we know it's going to take longer than a month or a couple of weeks, or even 6 months. All right. Just like the term pushing the envelope. Right here, it says testing limits and trying out new, often radical ideas. And that's what they're doing. All right, so Psalms 37:1, a psalm of David, fret not thyself because of evildoers. Right, we see the evildoers. So we're not to worry about that. Let them do what they do. They're supposed to do what they do. Just like we're not supposed to be worried about the unbelief of these Israelites out here that don't believe what we're telling them through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? It says, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. Yeah, because they're prospering. And these devils are in the best of health. You look at them, these devils live to be to 100. Barely any problems. Now here it is, we're serving the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to the best of our ability, giving our heart and soul into this truth, and it seems like we're suffering and catching all kinds of hell. But that's all a part of it. The scriptures say when we suffer, or when we're judged so that we don't be condemned with the world, because this world is already condemned. So what the Lord is doing is cementing our position, of salvation. And Lord's will, we can endure the trials, tribulations, and hardships that come with serving the Lord, so that we can be delivered at the very end. It says, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass. Right, because even in Psalms, I'm sorry, not Psalms, I got Psalms on the brain. Job 20:4, it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So the triumphing of the wicked, I never looked this up. Ranana. So like a ringing cry, shout for joy, right? So that triumph, their rulership, the voice of the wicked rejoicing is but for a moment, So it says that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and that the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. And the joy is shamacha, joy, mirth, gladness, right? Because when you're in that position, you're in a position to rejoice, to have a good time, But that's going to be soon cut down. So going back to Psalms 37:2, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Yeah, because if you buy fresh herbs and you don't store them correctly, what happens? They dry out. It says, trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. And we're being fed right now through this word. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. And how do we delight ourselves in the Lord? By doing his will, which is teaching his word. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Yeah, because so this is not talking about at noonday, at 12 o'clock noon, the Lord is going to let everybody know. No, he's going to exalt us. Lord's will we be the elect. You know, the same way that noonday is exalted. All right, and everybody knows when it's noonday, when the sun is at the highest point in the skies. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his ways. Let's look up the word prospereth. The word there is tazalach. To rush, to advance, prosper, make progress, succeed, be profitable. Yeah, and they're up there. This is why you have a lot of Jakes that are in that, you know, celebrity status that sell out and do things that they know are wrong, but just to get a piece of the devil's pie. You know, and they know it's wrong. And when you look at them, when the average person looks at these celebrities, they're in awe. But when you really look at them and you look inside their eyes, you can see the demonic influence that has possessed their vessels. You know, certain looks that they have, a certain way. You know, like I was scrolling through, I forget what I was scrolling through. Oh, I was listening to, you know, some old R&B cuts from the 90s, and I was watching one with the group En Vogue, and I was looking at the four chicks because, you know, they look, you know, well, back then they look good. You look good, baby. You look real good. But then I was looking and I was like, damn, them bitches are demons. You know, I was looking in their eyes while they was doing whatever they was doing, and I was like, yo, these chicks got Satan all in them. And you could see that demonic influence in their eyes. That's why it says, Chico, the eyes never lie. You know, going back to Scarface. All right. So we're not to worry about them prospering, because they're prospering as what? Only for a moment. Even though it seems like because they do have the whole world in their hands, but hey, it's only temporary. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him that prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. See? And what are these wicked devices? That's their so-called New World Order. The word there is mazamah, purpose, discretion, device, plot. Right, and they have a plot, which is also known as a what? A conspiracy. A conspiracy is two or more persons, you know, breathing together secretly to do something. And this is what they're doing. You know, they have this whole situation that they got going on in the world for their purpose and their agenda of the future. Now, I was just watching Elder Yashawama's video he did. I believe it was in the news, one of those in the news. And one individual brought out some information about how you have BlackRock and Vanguard. I believe it was BlackRock and Vanguard, some of the top companies of the world, corporations of the world, that are pretty much, I'm not sure if it was, you could say, invested or have plans of getting up into the Ohio area. For some reason, there's something going on there that they're not telling anybody about. I don't know if they found some precious metals there. I don't know if that's where they want to set up shop for something, you know, but there's something going on behind the scenes. And you can know by a term called cui bono, or who profits. You know, when there's a disaster or some type of calamity, you look at the person that is prospering money-wise, you know, business-wise, and you know that they were the culprit of that. Okay? So they're bringing them devices, but hey, it's not going to work. The man who bringeth wicked devices to pass, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Yeah, because you get upset. You know? It says, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Right. For yet a little while, that's why Yahweh said, the meek shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. This is why we read here in Job 20, that their time triumphing is but for a moment. Verse 6 says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Because here it is, you have Esau, supposed to be the hunk of the earth, right? You know, he's supposed to be this prosperous, you know, the person with the most etiquette, you know, the person that civilizes everybody. You know, they never had to be civilized. They civilized everybody. You know, no matter how many people of color have had empires in the past, they were not civilized according to Esau, you know. So he's going to become, where did he go? Because he's going to perish. That hasn't happened yet because the wicked is still in power. And the scriptures identify the Edomites as being the wicked. The scriptures identify the earth being in possession of the wicked. You look at the earth is not, you know, portraying righteousness. It's portraying evil and wickedness on a large scale. So it's impossible for the righteous to be ruling right now. It says, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. Right? Because he's going to be kicked out of that position of rulership. This is what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do. King of kings and Lord of lords. You know, he's coming to take all of the crowns, you know, or should I say, credited with bringing down all of these empires, all of these big governments and smaller governments that are set up and established across the world. And he's going to be set up into power because the kingdom rightly belongs to him. So back in Psalms 37:11, but the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. And how does he gnash upon him with his teeth? By the different agendas that he's pushing. How can we do this? How can we get that? How can we get him in this trap? And how can we get him to take this? And how can we get him to do that? So the word plotteth, the word there is zamum. It says to have a thought, device, plan, consider, purpose. Right. So they have a plan. What is that plan? Their agenda. What is their agenda? The so-called New World Order. And to where the majority of the planet will be micro-C-hipped. This is why they have these different agendas, 2000, 2020, 2030. And their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So they don't care how long it takes. They want to get it done as soon as possible, but they don't care how long it takes because in their mind, they think that they're going to continue to rule. No one's ever going to take them down. But they were wrong. You were wrong, Leonidas. You were wrong. Inside joke. So it says the other word was gnasheth upon him with his teeth. This is the legislation. This is the different agendas that are being put out there. The word there is charak. To gnash, grind the teeth, right? And when you grind the teeth, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. You're gonna get yours, money. You're gonna get yours. So it says the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Yeah, because the Lord got him set up. How in the hell you gonna boast against the one that's swinging the axe? Here it is, you're the axe. You're the sword. The Lord is swinging you, but you boasting like if you swinging yourself. You must be out your natural mind. It says the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow. Right. And what does it mean by drawing out the sword and bent the bow? Meaning that their plan is in motion to cast down the poor and needy. And this is what it's all about. Because who are the main threat to these devils' agenda? The Israelites, especially the ones that know that they're Israelites. 2 Ezra 16. and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection or uprising upon those that fear the Lord. This is the main problem in Esau's agenda, the Israelites. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And that's exactly what they're coming to do. But when they do that, the Lord is going to lift up a standard against them. Some type of divine intervention is going to happen to where they're not going to be able to destroy the elect. They'll get some because that's the way that they have to glorify the Lord, but they're not going to get all of them. Psalms 37 and 14, it says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of what? Upright conversation. And this is why, what is that? Either Wisdom of Solomon 6 or Wisdom of Solomon 3, where it speaks about that we are esteemed as counterfeits in their eyes, you know. So they hate the fact that they're being exposed. But part of their agenda at the very end is to let the world know what their plans are. This is why you keep hearing that word New World Order, that phrase New World Order being popping up everywhere. And back in the 70s, John Todd did a recording where he said that one of the things that you will know when they're establishing their so-called New World Order is when you see a lot of train derailments, you know. And I'm not sure if it was in that speech or another speech where it was said that when the lights go out in New York for the last time, we will have the world. This is another thing that they have said in the past. I haven't been able to find it. I'm not sure if that was within that cassette tape or that speech, or if it was someone else that has said that. It says their sword shall enter into their own heart. Yeah, and their bows shall be broken. Yeah, because the very thing that they are using to establish a new world order is going to be their own undoing. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. Yeah, because the little that the righteous has is in honesty. The riches that the wicked have is in wickedness. And the Lord said he's going to spew shameful spewing on their glory. It says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken. Right. In other words, their power is going to be broken. And the Lord upholdeth the upright, but the Lord upholdeth the upright, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous, right, by his word, by his power, by his angels. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. And we have many examples of that. So somehow, some way, we don't know how, but somehow, some way, the Lord is going to make a way for us to get through these hardships. It says, but the wicked shall perish. And this is why it said that Yahushua, Michael, and the angels have to come to deliver us from this time of trouble that's coming. Because it's going to be no other time in the history of all the different calamities of the earth is going to even equal to this, what's going on right now in the world. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. Right? They're going to melt. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. In other words, their whole vision of the future is going to perish. It's going to go up in smoke, because they're going to make it through. They're going to be in these different shelters, and then they're going to be the first to taste of slavery. It says, the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. Right, and the Edomites are the cursed of the Lord, and they're going to be cut off. There was another precept that came to mind, but that's all right. We'll just go with this one. Isaiah 34:5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. This is dealing with the missiles and the lasers from the chariots. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is the Greek way of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the Edomites are the Lord, are the people of the Lord's curse, and they are also the people whom the Lord hates. He has indignation against them forever. They are profane people. So going back to Psalms 37:22, for such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand, which is what? The angels, his truth. I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor a seed begging bread. Right, so the righteous are going to be taken care of. The elect are going to be taken care of in these times. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints, which are who? The Israelites. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. Right, and even among Jake, the ones that are part of the wicked, they're going to be cut off, but the seed of the wicked, the actual seed of the wicked, which are the Edomites, they will be cut down after they serve their hardcore slavery. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of the Most High is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. And Esau thinks that they're going to cause the steps of the righteous to slide, but they won't. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. That's why they have all of this technology, all of these programs set up to catch Jake and seeketh to slay him. It says the Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him. See, so it says the Lord will not leave him in his hand. We are in the hand of the wicked, but the Lord is not going to leave us in the hand of the wicked. Let's go real quick to Psalms 124:7. It says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. So in other words, we're going to be in the snare, but the snare is broken, but it's going to be broken, and we are escaped. And we will escape through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Lord's will, we be the elect. Our help is in the name of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, who made heaven and earth. So going back to Psalms 37:33, the Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Right. Only with thine eyes shall I see the reward of the wicked. I have seen the wicked in great power, that's right now. King David saw Esau in his great glory and power right now, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yeah, because they're taking over the whole world, right? Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. And even the Israelites that are in bed with these devils, they're going to get cut down. Because another thing that Elder Yashawamba was showing in the lesson that he did was the redacted episode that the Spirit had me do a lesson on. And he was showing how this one individual was speaking about how they were bringing out in the news about the objects in the sky that were shot down. They were bringing out about the chiefs. They were bringing out about all different types of stuff. But they did not speak not once about that derailment of that train out there in Ohio. Why would you not speak about that when that's a major thing that happened? That's a major disaster. So why are they not speaking about it? And you had Jakes in the White House, male and female, helping this devil in his agenda, and they know damn well that shit is not right. So they're going to be dealt with severely. Inside joke, but it's true. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He is their strength in a time of trouble. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is our strength in a time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. And this is all we have is the hope in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That's it. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.